The radical left wants to destroy institutions when they don't get the outcome they like. They want to make the court bigger because it's conservative. They want to put more judges that would be liberal on the court to change it back to a liberal court. Well, if every time you have a political change in America, you change the number of judges, you destroy the court. They want to do away with the Electoral College so New York and California will pick the president.
And joining us now, the esteemed senator from South Carolina, Lindsey Graham. Thank you very much for joining us, Senator.
Thanks for having me.
In the immediate aftermath of the Supreme Court leak, you said, quote, "The radical assault on our institutions and the Constitution itself has reached a new level with the release of this draft opinion on a major issue facing the court. Whether you are liberal, conservative, or moderate, the integrity of the court has been compromised by this outrageous act and affront to the rule of law." Well, it's only gotten worse since you wrote those words. Fencing now going up around the Supreme Court. I assume you've probably seen that from your office.
Yeah.
In addition to that, there's now talk of people protesting at individual homes of the conservative justice.
Yeah.
To me, to my way of thinking, that's a man's home is his castle. It's outrageous indeed. What's the latest on the investigation? Have you heard anything from the justices or from the Supreme Court?
No, I haven't. One, the court needs to do this, not Congress. If the court needs our help, I'll be glad to help. But the court's a separate branch of government. And I would ask the listeners here to pray for the members of the Supreme Court and to their staff. They're under assault, particularly the conservative wing of the court, but pray for everybody. The mob came to my house during Kavanaugh. I had the window broken out of my home in D.C. I had protesters out in front of my home in South Carolina disrupting the neighborhood. I got a lot of neighbors with young kids. So this is not the way to conduct democracy. So let's pray for the court. And the decision itself to repeal Roe v. Wade, if it stands, would be a good blow for constitutional government. There is nothing in the Constitution about a right to an abortion. It was a manufactured constitutional right. If Roe v. Wade is repealed, then the issue of when life begins and abortion rights go back to the states like before 1973, and I think that's the right answer.
Democrats, obviously, though, are going to milk this for all it's worth. There's already talk of a test vote in the Senate, if not a real vote in the Senate. There's also talk of packing the court. Some have even gone so far as to suggest placing Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson on the court even before Justice Breyer retires. What's your sense of all this and where it goes?
Crazy stuff by crazy people. If you don't like the outcome of an election, then reorganize and try to win the next election. Now, we have put conservatives on the court because President Trump picked 3 highly qualified conservatives because we won elections. The radical left wants to destroy institutions when they don't get the outcome they like. They want to make the court bigger because it's conservative. They want to put more judges that would be liberal on the court to change it back to a liberal court. Well, if every time you have a political change in America, you change the number of judges, you destroy the court. They want to do away with the Electoral College so New York and California will pick the president. They want to put term limits on Supreme Court justices. They want to do some things, make D.C. a state to give them more power in the Senate. Now they leak a a draft opinion about Roe v. Wade. Now, I'm pretty sure it was a liberal clerk. If it wasn't, a conservative clerk who did this is dumb as a rock. But this will backfire because America is going to rebel against the constant attacks by the left on the institutions themselves.
Democrats also want and need, in fact, a rallying cry, something to rally around for the midterm elections. They've got nothing with the sinking poll numbers of the Biden administration and the Biden administration's record. Will this serve that purpose for the Democrats?
No. Every time you go to the gas pump, you're not going to be thinking about Roe v. Wade. Now, it's an important decision. I hope the court will stick to it and reverse the Roe v. Wade decision and send the issue back to the states, where elected officials can determine when life begins and how it can end. I think the midterm elections are going to be decided based on public safety, economic well-being, control of the border, high gas prices, high food prices, And this whole effort to say that this decision will change America and do away with every other Supreme Court decision is demagoguery. The left thinks the American people are stupid. I don't.
Well, let's turn to some of the Biden agenda right now. You just mentioned the border. Ron DeSantis of the state of Florida has become the latest Republican governor to say, if you ship illegal aliens to my state, I'm going to ship them to the state of Delaware. That on top of Greg Abbott in Texas's decision to move many of them to the nation's capital. What's your position?
Well, number one, I worry about an open border from terrorism's point of view. Our withdrawal from Afghanistan was shameful and really hurt our national security. Terrorism is on the rise with ISIS-K and Al-Qaeda inside of Afghanistan. How hard would it be for a group of terrorists to leave Afghanistan, come through the southern border and kill a bunch of us? I worry about that. I applaud DeSantis and Abbott for making Biden feel what happens when your border is overrun. We have the highest illegal crossings in the history of the country with no end in sight. So a broken border is dangerous for your well-being in America and for your national security. It's just a matter of time to terrorists take the opportunity to come into America through a broken southern border. And I hope I'm wrong, but I think that's coming.
Just a couple more quick questions. You gave me an opening to the defense budget, which you have written about. You said the Biden defense budget, supported by the Secretary of Defense, is woefully inadequate to address our defense needs. It only gets worse over time, as the Biden proposal for a 10-year period would have defense spending by 2032 at 2.4% of GDP, by far the lowest in modern history.
Okay, how much money you spend on defense? Let's compare apples to apples. The gross domestic product is a good indicator. There's only been 4 times in American history we've had less than 3% of our GDP spent on defending the nation. 1940, 1999, 2000, 2001. Well, what happened in 2001? So the Biden budget is at 3.1%, but their plan for the military by 2032 is to have defense spending at 2.4%. The Navy goes from 360 ships to 280, and China is going to increase their ships to almost 500. This is a dangerous budget in the face of real threats. Not only a threat of terrorism, but a rising China. You saw what Putin's done in the Ukraine. We're running out of javelins and stingers. So this defense budget being pushed by Biden is the weakest defense budget in modern history. It will lead to more war, not less, because a strong America deters war. If China sees us basically disarming, goodbye to Taiwan.
Last question. The president, who you have supported throughout thick and thin for the most part, President Donald Trump, he went 55-0 in endorsements in Tuesday's primary.
Yeah.
His reputation in many respects has been resurrected. What is the future of Donald Trump as the de facto leader of the Republican Party?
Well, he is the leader of the Republican Party. It's the Trump Party, not the Lindsey Graham Party, not the Mitch McConnell Party. He's the most consequential Republican. His endorsement is the most consequential endorsement in modern politics. Is his nomination as a Republican if he wants it. I hope he does. I think he can win in 2024 if he will compare what he did as president to what Biden's doing as president. When he was president, we had secure borders. We destroyed ISIS. We killed Soleimani. We had peace between the Arabs and the Israelis. We had energy independence. If I were the president, I would be talking about how I can do once again what I did before, how I can fix all the problems caused by Biden. If he will stay on that message, come out with a positive American First agenda, not only will he be the nominee, I think he will go back into the White House in 2024.
Real quickly, how do you limit his foibles? How do you limit his excesses? Can you?
Well, yeah, he's going to be Donald Trump, but he has more than one gear. The president has the ability to focus like a laser on fixing problems. Look what he did at the border. Look what he did to make us energy independent. Look what he did to stand up to terrorism, destroying the caliphate and standing with Israel, unlike any president in my lifetime, and getting peace through the Abraham Accords that we haven't seen in decades. So he has that ability to focus on issues that matter, I would encourage him to do that. But he's under constant attack. From the time he gets up to the time he goes to bed, the left is trying to destroy him and his family. So I understand sometimes he probably goes too far, but you gotta understand what it's like to be Donald Trump. It's not easy in America to be Donald Trump. And, with all his foibles aside, I thought he was a great president. I think he's the right man to rebuild the party and take it to a new level. And I would add one thing about the folks in Ukraine. Pray for the people of Ukraine. They're fighting like tigers against Putin, and we need to stand by their side.
Well, thanks for that, Senator, and we appreciate the time you've given us. Thank you so much, Senator Lindsey Graham of South Carolina.